You gotta ask yourself, why would the Pope put a live streaming camera inside of the tomb of Lucifer on Christmas Day?
Thuffer and Thuckatash, not the tomb of Lucifer. This tomb of Lucifer bit is the latest trust me bro conspiracy getting passed around on TikTok and other social media like an unwanted fruitcake. So today I'm whipping out my freakish red nose to guide the way. I'm going to teach you the truth about the tomb of Lucifer and show you some of the forbidden pagan secrets that are hidden under the Vatican. This is the kind of Da Vinci Code information that people are looking for. The only difference being that this is actually real. In the absence of truth, people will often try to fill that void by jumping to conclusions and making things up. All of this social media gossip seems to have started with this New York Times article on December 9th about the Pope opening sacred portals over the holidays. So let's take a look at what people are out there claiming on social media about the events coming up this Christmas at the Vatican.
So from what I could gather about that, what they're doing is opening the tomb of St. Paul for the first time ever, and next to it there is something called the Tomb of Lucifer, and it holds a statue of Lucifer.
Pope will open 5 sacred portals. The veil grows thin at sunset.
Well, shit. If I knew no one was taking their meds, I wouldn't have worn pants.
Happy Christmas!
The first claim is that they're opening the tomb of St. Paul for the first time ever. Where are they even getting that? The tomb of St. Paul is supposedly in the Basilica of St. Paul, south of the Vatican, in a completely different area of Rome. The Vatican has the supposed tomb of St. Peter, and St. Peter's tomb is going to have a webcam installed so people can symbolically visit it. That's it. That's all it is. But before you cuddle up with a big bowl of popcorn and some self-loathing for a night of St. Peter and chill in front of the webcam, you should realize that he's probably not really buried there. In fact, the first time I went to the tomb of St. Peter, I hired a Vatican priest for the day to lead my private tour, and he was very clear around the archaeological controversy around St. Peter's supposed burial, and that they don't even believe he was really buried there. The second claim is that the Pope will be opening portals. Yes, they're called doors, and they open them up every Jubilee. And what the holy doors are supposed to be is a way for pilgrims to cheat. If you show up to one of the sites of the holy doors during the Jubilee and you go in, you can supposedly get indulgences. And what that means in Catholic terms is if you show up there with a Charizard and you say 5 Expecto Patronums, you get to leave with a fully leveled up Hufflepuff. The thing I love most about religion is how much sense it makes. And the third claim is that the basement of the Vatican holds the tomb of Lucifer. Now, I'd like to preface this by saying that I've been to the Vatican about a dozen times. I have been in the necropolis and the excavations under the Vatican that are called the Scavi. The Scavi are the archaeological excavations under St. Peter's Basilica, and they are very interesting because they're very difficult to get into. I had to petition the Vatican for months ahead of time just to get tickets to enter, and when you enter, they don't allow pictures. It's a highly controlled and really suspicious area when you consider that there's no reason they shouldn't be allowing you to take pictures of rocks, but there it is. The only reason you would keep people from taking pictures in this area is to control information, and indeed it makes it very difficult to find any accurate information about the excavation, and it also makes it very difficult to find any pictures of some of the more interesting things that are in there. All that being said, I have personally laid eyes on the tomb of Lucifer. The tomb of Lucifer, or the Lucifer tomb, is the colloquial name, but when you go to the excavations, it is officially known as Tomb U. Lucifer in Roman times did not refer to some mythological boogeyman that fell from grace and is now stuck here in the earthly realm as a shadowy hand behind the scenes making everybody do misdeeds. Talk about a conspiracy theory. No. Lucifer was the Latinized name of the original Greek, Phosphorus. And in Greek, Phosphorus and Hesperus were 2 aspects of the goddess Aphrodite, which was actually the planet Venus. Venus has a movement throughout the year known as its synodic cycle. For a portion of the year, it rises in the east before sunrise, and it's known as Phosphorus, meaning the bringer of the light or the bringer of the dawn. For the other portion of the year, it rises in the west after sunset, and it's known as Hesperus, meaning the evening star. And Phosphorus, the bringer of the light, was translated directly into the Latin Lucifer, which means exactly the same thing, the light bringer. And here's the painted depiction of Lucifer, Phosphorus, from Tomb U of the Vatican Scavi. We see him riding his celestial stallion, carrying his torch with the star above his head. Now, can we be certain that this depiction is Lucifer, Phosphorus, in the Greek sense? Yes, we can, because on the opposite wall of that same tomb, Tomb U, is Vesper, the Latinized version of Hesperus, the evening star. But again, if you go to the Vatican and you do the Scavi tour yourself, you can see that both of these depictions are on the wall of that tomb. Now, these would be very appropriate icons to put in someone's tomb. A person brings their light into the world. They pass into existence, and Phosphorus leads the way as they rise in the east and are born. And they live their life cycle just like the sun until the point of their death, at which point they go into the underworld, the other world, the land beyond the western horizon, where Hesperus, also known as Vesper, guides them. Now, I might be a little old-fashioned by a couple of millennia, so I still think that's a very touching and beautiful sentiment. And the pisser about this is that when I was researching for this video, I watched about a dozen different videos on this topic, and everybody got it wrong. These were not small videos, they had very large viewership, some in the millions. I even came across one self-proclaimed Christian content creator that was trying to debunk the entire idea, but the best he could come up with is that maybe the name Lucifer had to do with some graffiti that was found there, or perhaps it had to do with one of the early Christian personalities who was named Lucifer. So this guy was making shit up. He was lying in very much the same way as the people he was trying to debunk. And the sad thing is that all of these people and their millions of views, it was all fake. It was all wrong. You'd think that any of them could have done some actual scholarship and figured their shit out. This is why social media and the world is as bad as it is right now, because people are just making shit up whole cloth and regurgitating it at a ridiculous rate. And I'm sorry, if an individual content creator is out there deliberately lying to hundreds of thousands or millions of people, they're no different than the mainstream media. And this is what you get. As their own Bible said, many false prophets have gone out into the world. So is there a statue of Lucifer in the Vatican's basement that is commemorating that the real Lucifer has been buried there for thousands of years and been covered up by the powers that be? No, because Lucifer is not real. Lucifer was a ripoff from the Greek gods. Phosphorus, Lucifer, had nothing to do with a real dude. It was an astrotheological teaching mechanism. These humanized, personified astrotheological stories were given to the celestial bodies in order to explain their movements, to keep astronomical information alive, and allow that knowledge to be passed down. And that is something that Christians don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole, because it raises very difficult questions for them about what else might have been ripped off. And what do I mean by that? Well, here's an example. This is from another tomb in the Scavi, Tomb M, which is known as the Tomb of Christos Sol. The name Christos Sol literally means Christ the Son, S-U-N, not S-O-N. This mosaic is on the ceiling of that vaulted tomb, and what it shows is Christ in a chariot being drawn across the sky like the sun god Helios. The experts at the Vatican plainly admit that that is what this mosaic is showing, though if you even hint at the fact that Christ has aspects of earlier sun gods, well, you can take a look at my comments after I post this video and see all the bitching and moaning of people who are butthurt by that fact. I find the mosaics in this tomb to be extremely intriguing because they very clearly show a crossover between original pagan ideas and the later Christian ideas as they tried to commingle them together. On one wall you have the Fisher of Men, and on the other wall you have Jonah and the whale, and Christ in his solar chariot is directly above them, surrounded by grape leaves. And what turns water into wine if not grapes, and the sun ripening the grapes on the vine? If you're awake and you have the eyes to see, the Scavi and the Vatican have things like this all over, though most people have been trained since childhood to be blind and to gloss over these facts. So in a funny way, we do have a depiction of the real Lucifer in a tomb under the Vatican. And we also have a depiction of the real Christ. And though modern Christians might never want to accept it, both of these depictions have a basis in astronomy, in the sun and in Venus.